so you can stop laughing at me.
We are live now.
Melody, we are live, and we just gone live when Melody is giving us what we call that. You know, in Kenya we call it msemo. Anatupatia msemo. You know, you're kinda giving us hard talk.
Nah,
Nice to
she's
see you,
trying.
beautiful
She's
ladies. It's
trying.
a beautiful time. Nelta, you're saying something.
No, I said she's trying to give her heart talk. She's trying.
Yeah,
You
let
know,
me let me.
that's what they do. They laugh at me every time I try to be serious. So I don't even bother
But
anymore. Anyway,
Melody, you know,
we,
you can never be serious. By the way.
I know, it's just crazy.
So here we are again. It's another beautiful week. Melody and Nelta, Chadamoyo squared or Chadamoyo plus. Uh, to have you again on this show, you know, just trying to bring whatever experience we have in terms of relationship and life in general. Today we are here speaking about communication, how you feel when you are in relationship. Is the communication realistic? Have you ever been dismissed? Have you ever been manipulated with the people you are in relationship with in terms of communication? So the question is, how your communication style impacts your relationship? How does it impact your relationship, the way you communicate? Do you communicate to be understood, or do you communicate to be heard, or do you communicate to be heard and understood, or do you just communicate to be available? A very big question over there, but before we keep on doing this, I would like to welcome my panelists Nelta and Melody to introduce themselves. Today I want to start with Melody.
Okay. Hi everyone. Apologies for the earlier confusion where we started the show before the show because I was so excited about the topic. And then I forgot about the whole hour change thing. I'm still trying to get my head around it, even though it's 2 weeks later, I think. Anyway, my name is Melody Chadamoyo. You can see I don't have any problems with apologizing. When I mess up, I own up, right? And I am a relationship love coach. I am a speaker and an author. I'm also very passionate about love and relationships and how people can get more joy, more fun, more excitement, more, good feelings instead of all the misery and the frustration that a lot of us tend to get in relationships. And then we say, oh, that's what relationships are. No, it's not. We just settle, we put up with it, and then we are miserable, and we start communicating in a way that's showing that we are not happy, even though we pretend we're happy. So, talking about communication style, your communication style shows how much you feel loved or not. And I'm so excited to be here today. Thanks, John.
Welcome, Melody. That's a great introduction over there. Excitement is all over. I'm also excited tonight to have this discussion. So, the second panelist that we have on in house is Nelta. So, Nelta, if you can just give us an introduction of yourself, we will be so happy to have you.
Okay. So my name is Nelta Chadamoyo. I am an energy healer, and I'm also an artist and a coach. And well, I'm all about everything healing in whatever variety or ways you do it, and finding yourself and landing in the place you're supposed to be and having a great life.
Wow, what a wonderful people to have here to host, and in this conversation here, I'm happy that at least the panel is growing. Before we were just two, I was alone, then Melody came, Nelta is here, and it's growing. Soon we will be having 15 people, just having a roundtable conversation here, and this is what makes the world move around. We're just trying to bring each of us closer, closer, and closer each and every day. So let's get grinding this conversation. Melody and Nelta. And I want to introduce it by, you see, people say that for a relationship to work, and here we're not just going to talk about relationship as in love relationship. We are going to talk about relationship as in life. For any conversation, for any kind of, a project, even family meetings, whatever has to work, there must be communication. There is channel, there is people who can communicate, there is a chain of command within the communication. But then there is that kind of being used when the chain of command maybe is broken, or the chain of command is not kind of followed. Somebody is trying to fix something or down your throat, and a lot of things happen. But when we get it from coaches and a healer, I have a coach, a relationship coach here, and I have a healer on the other side. So I want to hear from Nelta as we begin. Let us just define what effective communication is before we get to how we communicate in our relationships. Nelta.
Sorry, John and Nelda. I just want to welcome our viewers. There's Jadu, who is here, has been here before even I was here. So welcome,
Mm-hmm.
welcome. And we want your comments and questions. And those that haven't said anything, please say something so we know who you are and we can, pick you up. And if you have questions, please go ahead and ask a question. Now, Nelda can talk.
Okay, if I remember what it is. So my understanding of communication is the exchanging of information from one person to another, and so you need a sender and a receiver. So someone is giving out information, and there's a receive it. So most of the time we communicate with the intention of wanting to be heard, putting our point across, and well, now as a healer, say for the most part we are not even aware of why we communicate the intention, which is actually very important. So as we go deeper into this, I hope we'll jump into some of that. But communication is really like it's verbal, non-verbal, whatever way you communicate. You can write, you can use your words. Sometimes it's through music or poetry. Like me, I communicate through my art. And if you tell me I can draw a cow or a hat, I can't draw a cow or a hat, but my art is amazing. So that's just saying there are so many various ways of communicating. We have people who use their hands, sign language, and yeah.
Wow. So it's a matter of, having a sender and the receiver, and in between having some gadgets and channels on which that message is delivered, which is very important in a very brief and strong definition of communication. I'll get to Melody as well. Let us hear from a relationship coach perspective.
So communication to me is, the interaction of or imparting or exchanging of information from one person to the other. And
Mm-hmm.
there are many different communication ways of communicating, but we as human beings have 5 communication styles that we tend to use. And these
Mm-hmm.
styles are usually determined by sometimes habit, sometimes how we are feeling, and
Mm-hmm.
most of us, it depends on how we were raised. In that, most people don't really go to learn how to communicate. We communicate out of necessity. And so we develop these styles. Like, for example, we're going to start with the lowest and go up to the highest, because I think, it will be great for us to know the best way to communicate. But this is how not to communicate. And I know a lot of us do that. The manipulative communication, whereby
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily tell a person what you really want from them. You want them to guess or to figure it out on their own. And you know what you want, but you do never really say what you mean. It's all it's all hiding your goals, and they sometimes these people create confusion. You come from the meeting with them or being with them, and you are asking, what was they trying to say? I don't know what they were saying. They spoke a lot.
Yeah.
We have met people
Mm-hmm.
who speak a lot, and then we think, what What were they saying? I have no idea.
Hmm.
Those people are manipulating you. So if you are in a relationship with people who say a lot of things, but when you start to unravel those things, you find there's nothing there. You've just been manipulated. A lot of politicians use that language, I'm afraid, which is unfortunate because when you are in a position of leadership, you should communicate clearly. You know, you need
Exactly.
to be direct and you need to be
Hmm.
honest.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and so that's manipulative communication. A lot of people use manipulative communication. I was taught as I was a young lady when I was when people knew I had a boyfriend and we were serious. Women started to teach me how to manipulate him, how to
Hmm.
make sure he does what I want. So you be told, you can cook him his favorite meal if you want a favor, or you can perform like a wild cat woman in the bedroom, and all sorts of crazy. Yeah, and and
You have to cook
and
and jump over the food before he eats.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to do a lot of things just to
And
get him to
even the
say
even the concept of you have to kneel in front of him, don't, like, I know some men expect that, but don't take that as respect.
no, you are being manipulated. Like, be very careful. If you see a woman, in most cases, doing things, I'm confessing all things now, and doing things that are so, you can say they are out of character.
Mm.
They are trying to get something out of you. And men do it too. I'm not just saying women. Men do it too. They say things, they promise you heaven and earth. They never really tell you where they're going to be. They just seem mysterious. They say, I'm so busy, babe. And they call you babe because they can't remember your name. And those kind of things. You feel so flattered. When you're with them, you feel flattered because it's a lot. It comes. They never give you time to breathe.
There's
When
no
you leave
silent
them,
silent moments to process.
yeah, when you leave them, that's when you start thinking, huh, what did
What
he
was
mean by
happening?
that? Yeah, what was going on? Because you can't, they never give you time or space. They have a goal. They want something
Mm-hmm.
from you, and they won't give you
Mm-hmm.
space to actually process it and say, I want this or I don't want this. So that's manipulative communication. And
Mm.
the other one
And
is,
sometimes with men, Melody, they will focus so much on your physical attributes and the outside things, and you think you're being complimented, but they never really are there to connect with you as you are. And you find most of the time you spend your time with their friends at the places they love to be. And it seems all
Mm-hmm.
fun because it seems like they're being, I'll pick you up, I want you to come do this. When in actual fact, if their friends never meet them, they will never know. They can tell you to leave them. It's being
Wow.
isolated as well from everybody.
yeah, that's manipulative communication. The second one is passive communication. Women are so good at this passive communication because we have evolved to want to please.
Mm.
We want to please men. Because you guys are bigger than us. So the only way we have survived is by making sure you're a
Mm-hmm.
friend, an ally, and not an enemy. So these people usually they are very submissive. A lot of men like submissive women and easygoing. They are people pleasing. They're self-effacing, and people who communicate in this way generally let aggressive people take them take charge, and they don't interfere. They are afraid of confrontation completely. And every time they're trying to placate you and say, oh no, it's okay, like if you even show a sign that there's something that doesn't please you, they will bend over backwards to make you happy. And aggressive people and manipulators love them because they just do what they're told.
Mm.
Yeah. And I know we've been like, girls are taught and trained in so many cultures from Europe to Asia to be passive communicators. Don't raise your voice. Don't be too challenging. You have to look soft. You have to behave in a certain way. Otherwise, men are not going to like you. So we all kind of we curtail ourselves and our energy in order not to scare men. And men who want women like that, yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have honor and they don't have self-respect.
It's very interesting.
Wow.
You just reminded me of one example I was given is, oh yeah, like two of my friends were talking. They were married. I wasn't. And one of them was saying, I want to buy a house. And they told him we should buy a house. And we're talking about buying a house. And he says, oh, we should get a 3-bedroom house. And I was saying, a 4-bed, this even if we have guests, we can't afford a bigger house. But our kids can sleep in one room and the guests can sleep in another room. And the other friend, and he is not agreeing. And the other friend was like, "Oh, you should just hint at him and leave it. And then next time when he comes and say, oh, let's get a 3-bed house, or let's get a 4-bed house," you say, "Oh, that's a very good idea." And always make everything he says like it's his idea, because you don't openly ask for what you want. You do what do they call this, like mind, like you just plant a seed.
You manipulate them into, this
Yeah,
is what Coach Melody says, you
yeah,
manipulate them
manipulate
into
thinking
doing
it
what
was
you
your
want, but
idea.
without really
In
showing them that this is
Yeah,
what your idea.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but but you see, Melody and Nelta. I think that in real life situation we also have such kind of people, because sometimes, being manipulative as well helps. You are manipulating somebody but not with a bad intention. Sometimes it helps because you have this man or woman who will never ever agree to take your side. So, because I have ever had such kind of a manager before, where we did agree as a team, like, when we want to eat, for example, let me say, when you want to be served chicken biryani, and he's in the group, you call for beef biryani. So once you will call for beef biryani, he will call for chicken biryani. So you will get the chicken biryani. So when you
Okay.
want beef, you will call chicken biryani. Automatically, he will call the opposite. So
Yeah.
you become manipulative, but in a positive way. What do you think, guys?
Okay. I don't know if that's a positive. There's a positive way of being manipulative. Though I will say I understand where you are, because for security and
Mm-hmm.
to get what you want with people, of which is a work situation. If
Mm-hmm.
it's your partner, I would say, why are you still there? Because the thing is, if you have to stay with someone, you have to manipulate all the time. That's different from, like in your case, you're saying your boss is suggesting something else and you get what you
Mm-hmm.
want because
Mm-hmm.
he's not a good boss. But if you can imagine someone you're building life with, because you can always get another job, that's not healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people want to be contrary. I understand. And I would agree,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in that situation, sometimes that's what
Mm-hmm.
you need to do. But you cannot
Mm-hmm.
sustain it for long periods of time.
For a long
Because this
period.
is, yeah, because if you are that type of person who's a passive communicator, you have a lot of resentment inside you. You
Mm,
carry a lot of frustration inside you. And
Mm-hmm.
because you don't clearly communicate your own wants, needs, and opinions, you tend to just allow other people's needs and opinions and, carry over. But it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt inside, because everybody wants to be loved, to be seen, to be heard. So if
mhm,
you are
Mm-hmm.
not being heard, it means you're hurting inside, right?
mhm,
And you're often overlooked because nobody knows who you are, because you never
mm.
speak. They don't know what
Yeah.
you stand for because you have no line. You don't have anything that matters to you so much that you can actually say, right, this is me, this is what I stand for.
And you just brought me one of the amazing statements that I love. Like I got from Avatar when they say, "I see you." It's like I see you for who you are, and I accept you as you are. And that's the kind of relationship you need, even if it's your friend. But work is a bit tricky But get another job if you have a boss like that.
Yeah, and even if you feel unseen in your
Mm-hmm.
relationship, whether it's with your parents or with your siblings or whatever, it's that being unseen, feeling unseen will build up and build up and build up, and one day you're going to explode because there's a need for us to be seen and to be heard, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want a situation where you feel unseen and unheard, and also you don't want a situation where you disrespect yourself because you've allowed this situation to happen. You've allowed, because you think if we have a confrontation, the relationship is going to be over. It's actually better for you to
Mm-hmm.
have the confrontation, to deal with the fallout of the confrontation, because there is only growth there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the other person agrees with you or they don't agree with you, and all that, but you will grow, and so will they, because they will learn one thing: I cannot continuously manipulate people without a an outcome, a negative outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So they will also have to up level their communication style.
So I have a question to ask you, Melody. I heard you talking about, and this thing has been really a big challenge, and we've had a big conversation about it. You see, in relationships nowadays, and I don't know whether it is just a trend that some people set somewhere to help others. Like we said in the previous conversation that. People are even coming up with gadgets to help other people to track where they are going, and other gadgets, other applications to help them cheat. Like,
Mm,
it can help you know whether the wife is coming home or not. So we've had a very, very stiff and deep conversation with some of my colleagues where they always believe that when you're in a relationship with somebody, you're not supposed to call them with their names. And in fact, if you call them with their names, it means you no longer love them. So I've never believed that personally, because I've always believed that the more you call people honey, baby, mommy, babes, sweetheart, you're trying to conceal something. You're trying to be neutral to everybody because you don't want to miss the name. You don't want to, if I'm a cheat and you are used to being called mommy, I will call Nelta mommy, I will call Melody mommy, I will call. So, if I'm a cheat and I'm used to calling you Melody, and then I come home one day and I'm like, oh, Nelta, I need this, you'll be asking me, who's Nelta?
yeah,
But if I'm used to mommy, honey, sweetheart,
baby.
darling, where will you, when will you ask me who is darling? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So,
as from a point of a coach, what do you have to advise young people who are watching outside there?
ooh, that's a very good question, and it's going to be very controversial. So, hmm, here's the thing. I, I'm all for babe here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
a person's name to me means a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So I always called my husband by his first name, ever, ever, ever. And people tried to say, that's disrespectful, that's whatever. But I
Mm.
felt very strongly that actually me calling him by his name was the most respectful thing. It was the most respectful gesture I could give for him. Because that's, to me, if you call me by my name, Melody, that's the name that's on my birth certificate. That's the name I was called when I was first born. That's the name that's going to be on my tombstone when I die. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my identity. That's who I am in the world. All the other titles, that sister, whatever, aunt, mother, wife, what was it? Titles pale compared to my name. So I really believe that when you're serious, like, when you're in the throes of ecstasy and you say babe, I think that's a dishonor to that
Mm-hmm.
person. I just think, I think if you call them by their name, that's it. That you are connecting to the person that they are. And to me, that's being honorable. But
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people think that, it's whatever. And this whole babe thing, I sometimes I would say babe too, but it's playful. It's like when I'm not being serious, and it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
When I'm being serious, when I'm being loving, when I'm being there present, I always call him by his name.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I think that's one of the things people need to agree on. What do you prefer to be called, rather than assume because you have heard other people call each other this, or your ex responded when you called them whatever, that it's a given. Every man or every woman wants to be called babe or whatever. I think people need to talk about that, because it seems like it's nothing, but it could become a big deal at some point, depending
Yeah.
on the circumstances. So be clear that you are calling each other, and also have the courage. If someone calls you what you don't want, you tell them, I don't want to be called that. Like I have so many people, especially with my name Nelta, a lot of people, especially here. Like Europe is so bad for not making an effort with anybody with a name that they think is theirs. And it's such a situation that I've been called weird things, and I would always say that's not my name. I even had a situation where, actually, even giving Melody's name is very simple. It's a popular, like, word used everywhere, and she was being called all manner of things by somebody. And I remember you, Melody, saying she called you Miriam or something else, and then you just said, "Okay, hi, Peter." I said, "How can you call me Peter? Well, you invented a name for me. I'll call you whatever I feel like." And it's the same thing with, so you imagine, for me with my name Nelta, and people saying me, also, how do it's too hard to call you, can I just call you Mary? And I'm like, well, then I'll call you whatever I feel like too. If this is how we are doing it, so be it. I'll call you whatever I feel like, depending on my mood that day, because you are trying to create a situation where you call me something I didn't tell you I am. So be
Mm-hmm.
open. This is the same. This is about communication again. We had
Mm.
Melody and I had parents who called each other darling. I remember my first experience. We had gone to visit our granny. This is in the middle of rural Zimbabwe. No road, lights, no whatever. And then my father's like, darling. And my mom was like, yes. And it was their normal. But they had established the perimeter where they called each other. Everyone else was calling each other by, say, I have a daughter called Siobhan. They would call me my Siobhan. But our parents were like, no, because it's not our culture to do that. In the culture where my father comes from, everyone is called by their first name. First name. The place, same space with where my mom comes from, everyone is called by their first name. But colonization switched that on its head. So
Mm.
be sure you're not copying something when you don't comprehend what it is you're absorbing.
Yeah.
This is the biggest problem, and that's why I started by explaining, like, some people are forming gadgets to help us cheat, to help us do this, because most of the things that we are doing in this generation, people talk of generation X, a generation of technology, but you see, we have been, especially the Africans, we have been displaced and isolated when it comes to generation of technology. An African guy, young man or young woman, comes up with a device that can help to enhance technology. And I don't know, the Bureau of Standards or whatsoever, the International Bureau of Standards will not pass it. It will be assumed that it cannot meet the standard qualities and etc. So it means that our cultures have been dwelt below, such that we cannot promote it. So we are borrowing from other culture, because the technology that comes to us comes with their own setup of standards and their culture. And now we are copying. Where personally, when I was growing up, I never had my dad calling my mom darling, honey, sweetheart, or whatsoever. Every time I had him call my mom, he would use my mom's name. The same thing my mom used to do. She used to call my dad Charles,
Mm.
and that is what I grew knowing. And now we're in a generation where when I call my fiancée with her name, she feels offended. When she calls me with my name, I feel offended. But then I sit down and I ask her, so what if I call you darling and I'm calling another woman outside there also darling, or I'm calling her sweetheart? Then don't you feel that it is you are special and you're specially named so and so, and that's your name. So when I
Mhm.
call you with that name, you've got to be proud, because that is what separates you from other women. Other women can be sweethearts, they can be darlings, they can be honeys, but you are Melody and you are Nelta. That is what separates you from them. So maybe I can say my darling Nelta, my darling Melody, but when it's just honey, darlings, sweetheart, you have to be very careful.
But
You might have.
you also, John, need to understand if someone wants to be called darling, you need to respect that.
Yeah. Even if you don't agree with it, because it's a preference, right? This is what they want, and you loving them and you caring about them and wanting them to get
Hmm.
what they need in the world. This is what they need,
Hmm.
so you give them what they need. If that's not what you want, then you have to say, this is not what I want. So I feel like sometimes we want these things because we think it makes us feel special. Like people think if a person calls you darling, that means, or
It's
honey,
a
or
special.
sweetheart, or whatever. It means I am special to them. That calls for a situation where a person hasn't done the work that they need to do in order to feel special anyway, despite the fact that people notice that you're special or not notice that you're special, because you don't need validation from outside. Those are some of the things I teach. I teach you to be a person who loves yourself so much that when other people come to love you, it's like it's like the cherry on top of a cake. It's already been iced and it looks beautiful, and you just add a little ting just to add to the sweetness. But otherwise, it was already done.
Mm.
That's 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 what I help people to figure out. Because if I
Hmm.
don't, if when you are in this situation where you need the honeys and the whatevers, you get into a point where you are communicating aggressively, and and that's another communication style, aggressive communication, where you feel you have to be intimidating, you have to be argumentative, and you have to be hostile. You do not talk to me like that. Those kind of people, we know them. And 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 men who think every time a person opens or offends them in any way, they have to punch them in the face so that they feel
Hmm.
good, or they have to say something scary, like they go and they stand over them. You remember the Hillary and Trump debate,
Mm.
that he was literally threatening her. That is that is aggressive. That is aggressive behavior. And who people who communicate like this way are only concerned about winning. They are not concerned about the relationship.
Mm.
They believe their opinions are the only ones that will matter, and they're the only ones that are worthy to listen to. So a lot of us ladies love bad guys. Bad guys who disrespect you. He looks confident. He dismisses everything you say, and you think that's an attractive quality. It is not,
It
because
says a lot about you, doesn't it?
yeah, and usually they have a harsh tone. It's not just the words. It's even the tone they use is very aggressive. It's very intense. It's very, it's very difficult. And most of the
Hmm.
time, people are on the defensive when they're with these people. And and because even if they say something right, their tone undermines all that, because they don't understand that there's an important way of being in the world. And um, they even use gestures and you know faces when you talk. If you're a guy, they'll be rolling their eyes. Oh, here go again. He starts again to talk. So stupid. And the guy, when the woman's talking, and she's so stupid. What's she saying that? All that is aggressive behavior. So if your communication style is that, it
Hmm.
usually means underneath all this, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of suppressed rage that's inside you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know someone who communicates like this, or if you communicate like this, you need to do some work to unravel that. Because aggressive communication does not get you what you want at all.
Mm.
Even when people are falling over backwards to do it, they are not doing it to impress you. They're doing
Mm-hmm.
it to avoid the confrontation with you because they don't want
Mm-hmm.
all that, stuff that is going on with you. And
Mm.
then there is passive aggressive, which seems like we know people who seem like they are so nice, they're sweet, they're darlings, and they pretend like they're. I know so many women were like this actually, and men
Mm-hmm.
who on the surface they are so nice, they seem easygoing, but they bite.
Mm.
Whatever they are saying, it's like they're the people who say compliments like, "Oh, John, your shape looks very nice, but it would be better if you had, and then they say something that makes you feel like, oh my God, that's so horrible. Or it would look better on me because I'm so light skinned. Or, like those kind of like kind of comments.
Gaslighting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, gaslighting. That's what the young ones call it. Gaslighting. Oh my God, I'm saying young ones. Where did that come from? And these also are people who are inside frustrated and angry, and their anger will manifest as sarcasm. It will gossip, rumor spreading, patronizing, condescending, and you know dismissing people, eye rolling, those kind of things. As you can see, the one above had the same connotations, even though it's aggressive. Passive aggressive is like, I seem like I'm nice, but then when
Mm-hmm.
you deal with me, you discover that I am not nice at all. I
Mm.
cut
Mm-hmm.
I'm cutting you every time you say something, and I'm like in Shona, we have a thing where we say the rat bites and then it blows on you to make it feel better. So you bite you, and then I seem like I'm making
Soothing,
it better,
soothing, like.
soothing you. Yeah. So I
It's
bite
like
you,
a
and then I
rat,
soothe
yeah.
you. So you never know. You can't tell. You go away and you think, was I was that? Am I overthinking this? Is this person nice or are they not nice? What is going on with this person? Did I do something wrong? Maybe it's all me. Maybe I'm
Mm.
the one who has issues. When you have those kind of people in your life, or you are one of those people, that's how you communicate, that's your communication style. I've got wonderful news for you actually. I have a webinar on Wednesday where I'm going to teach people how to heal, because I know and I believe that people communicate in this way, in the four that we have talked about,
Mm-hmm.
because they have pain and hurt and anger and frustration and betrayal that they've been carrying for so long. They just need relief to let it go. And when they do, then they start communicating with assertiveness. And the assertiveness is, I'm confident. I know who I am. I know what to ask for, what I need, and get it. And when John is talking, I listen to John. When Nelda
Mm.
is talking, I listen to Nelda because I have space in my heart, in my head to accommodate all these things.
Mm. And you can be, there's authenticity as well when you're
Oh yeah, yeah.
getting from there.
And you are not forcing the person to go the way you want them to go. So I'll give you an
Mm-hmm.
example. So when I was dating my husband, oh, my boyfriends, the two boyfriends I've had in my life, sad. But anyway, when I was dating both of them, they would say something that I might not agree with. And I'd say, you know what? That is not for me. I don't particularly agree with that. But it's okay if that's what you believe. And for me now, if it's a deal breaker for me, then I say, but I don't think we can go further
Mm-hmm.
because this doesn't suit me.
Mm.
Yeah. Whereas some of us, because we want to please people, we start to say, "Oh no, it's okay. I will." In your head, you don't even say to them. In your head, you say, "No, it's okay. I will change him." Well, we'll stay together for a little while, and then after a little while, then I will change him, and then he'll become, he'll do what I want. No, you won't. That's not never going to happen at all.
It never works. You can never change a person who has not decided to change.
Exactly.
And it
And
never
and
ends
they change
well.
themselves, no matter how hard you work on them, no matter how hard you kneel and pray. Because I know so many women who kneel and pray to change men. It is so sad, but it doesn't happen. They have to want to change, and they will do the work to change. It's not up to
Mm.
you.
It's always their choice.
Their choice is to do the work, to understand themselves better, to know themselves better, so that they can then be able either to walk away or to start asking, to have the skills and the tools to say, you know what, John, we've been together for 6 years.
Mm.
This is what I need from you. When I come home from work, I need you to rub my feet every day, if that's what they need. Or I need you to, I don't know, pick up your clothes from the floor because you don't have a maid. You have a girlfriend. Two different things.
Wow. Sometimes it gets deep, but you see, it's always great to have the reality of life so that we can fix the broken pieces of what we are having in all relationships across the world, Melody. But it's always great to, listen and understand these things coming from you and also Nelta on the other side. Um, Having, grilled the passive kind of communication, I want us to go to the last part of it, and this is always giving the parting shot and then summarizing what we have talked about, because I understand that communication is so wide. Even if we will be given like 1 year, we cannot complete talking about communication. But what comes out from what we have talked about today is that we have to be clear, we have to be respectful, we have to be kind, and more so, we have to know ourselves better in a position where we love ourselves, not to accept to be manipulated. And when you don't accept to be manipulated, you don't expect to manipulate others. So all these aspects comes out from our conversation, both of us, or amongst us, the three of us here. And I believe that we can still do better. People outside there, sometimes, relationship things are not working. You will realize that most of relationships, 70%, if I give it on a percentage a score, is not working well because of poor communication. People are just okay. The girl is just fine. Everything is all right. Is all right. The man is also just okay. But communication here is comes the problem. There's a girl who sent me a message on Instagram, and she was telling me that, you know what, she screenshot a message that the boyfriend sent to her, and the boyfriend was complaining. And if you look at it, and my reply was to her also, I'll tell you how I replied to her. The boyfriend was saying that I can't come from work and I meet 50 missed calls on my screen coming from one person just because you are trying to reach me. It is excessive way of trying to reach me. Maybe I'm busy. Maybe I forgot my phone at home, or maybe I'm doing something. If you are so suspective of whatever I'm doing, why don't you just call me twice or thrice, then write a message? I was thinking that you could have written me a message and there's no message. There is 50 missed calls. I'm sick and tired of you bothering me, and I think this relationship is not working. So I responded to this lady and I asked her that for how long has this been happening? Then she was like, this guy, when he's around, he does everything to me. Whatever I want, he gives. But when he leaves for work, he forgets me. He never communicates until when he will be back home. That's when again he will talk to me. Then I was like, and you are so serious that you always know he's at work and he's not communicating with you, and you know he's at work. Yeah, but he has to create time for me. A man who loves you has to create time for you. And I told her, yes, you are right. A man who loves you has to create time. So the time he is creating is that time out of work. So you have pushed him to a place where he now feels that this relationship has to come to an end. You did not do a big mistake. Your mistake is only that you are pushing for this time. So don't you see that if you try to understand that you need this man after work, and he also understand that no, my girlfriend is just right, but I need to tell her that at work I can't use my mobile phone. She has to give me space until, why don't you think in this way? Then she was like, no, she never just understands me. And then I told her, do you think it is appropriate for me and you and him to have a conversation on Zoom together, the three of us? Then she was like, he will not understand. And I told her, no, do you think it's okay? Is it okay for you? She was like, yeah, if you think so, but I'm telling you, he will not understand. Then I connected them. After 3 days, the guy accepted to come on Zoom. And I was having the two of them, and with me, we were three. So we just started, speaking Swahili and laughing. And, I told them, do you have something like a coffee near you, or maybe a juice or water? Let's take a coffee and talk. By the end of conversation, they were they wanted like to cry on the other ends because they realized that there's no problem in between them. So I
Yep.
was asking the guy, are you still feeling like you don't need him? You don't need her in your life? And he's like, she's not wrong. Yani, I'm telling you the truth. There's nothing she's doing wrong apart from bothering me on phone. So I was like, if you have a woman like this, where will you get another one? So to cut the story short, 70% of relationships today are falling because people cannot communicate effectively. Somebody wants it too much, somebody is giving it too little, or somebody is giving it enough but is not explaining that this is enough you can get. What do you think, Melody and Nelta?
I think I will let know the answer so that I can get in there because I'm just realizing you forgot your classes, man, and I'll call you on it later. But no, go ahead.
I'm actually thinking that if someone, okay, I dated someone would do that, just
Mm-hmm.
get in touch, even when they phoned, they'll just they'll just there was nothing to talk about. Well, no, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
date the
Mm-hmm.
guy actually. He would phone. He was a friend, and there was a
Okay.
time where if he phoned, I wouldn't pick up his calls because his reasons for phoning did not make sense. Because he would phone, I would pick up the phone. Hi, hi. So say it's John. Hi, John. Hi, Nelta. How are you? I'm fine. And then phoned, I expect you to have something to say, and then he says, "Oh, okay, bye." Because again, it's like when you phone someone 50 times. What is
Mm-hmm.
there to talk about? I live with Melody, okay? We have amazing conversations. I don't phone her more than necessary. Like, seriously, even texting her. Usually, it's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the bus so that she warms up my food. I send a text. I'm on the bus. I'm so just now so that she turns on the stove so that when I walk in, because I don't eat first thing in the morning, there is food for me to serve and eat. And the
Mm-hmm.
interesting thing about this communication is that I mentioned intention. What is the intention of reaching
Mm-hmm.
out? So if at the same time, like I think one of the things that Melody didn't bring up was the non-verbal communication. I'm an energy healer, like I said. I just use energy like from wherever you are to heal a person. Here's
Mm-hmm.
the thing: you don't have to say anything for someone to know you have good intentions or bad intentions, that they feel safe or they need to actually escape from this situation. So
Mm-hmm.
before he even looks at his phone, he knows there's trouble on that phone. This is before he even unlocks his phone to look at what's happening with the phone. While he knows this phone is just trouble. So you've
Mm-hmm.
created a situation where energetically you've sent the vibe that I don't trust you, and he knows you don't trust me, and the proof of the not trusting a person is in the missed calls. So, but you are taking your lack of trust for someone and putting it onto them to deal with when you should deal with not trusting someone. So if I don't trust you, John, in when I have a relationship with you, I should just leave you, because if we have not trust, there's no relationship. But that would be a me problem, not your problem, and I have to work on that. So in regards to you solving them and saying, let's do this, because well, I'll have Melody to jump into that, but I just wanted to talk on the energy part, that before you say something, the other person already has a sense of what's coming. That's why if you're going to give someone bad news, they usually are feeling, oh my God, they are coming here, doesn't feel right. They might not know what it is, but they know you're not bringing good tidings, even if they don't know it. Because
Wow.
energetically, we're already communicating before we even utter words. Because words noises that we have given meaning. Like saying give is something I would say that give means this. If you go somewhere else, it's probably to even not pronounce the same way or doesn't mean the same thing because they gave it a different meaning.
Okay, noted. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say this. John, you forgot your lessons. The male brain. So going back to the male brain, which you should have said to this poor woman, uh, uh, before I even go to the male brain, what does she spend her days doing? Because she's a young person. Isn't she out working too? Where does she find the time to phone? That's number one. Because sometimes even when Notas is saying, she sends me a text to say, warm up your food. Sometimes she gets home and I wouldn't have been able to get up because I'm so busy. So I can't even, so I understand that, people get busy. But the most important thing, men are single focused. If you are a woman, if you're listening to this, if your friends are telling you, if anybody is telling you, this is the one sentence you need to remember. Men are single focused. That means they can only do one thing at a time. They can't text you and focus on their job and not get fired. Okay? Please, please, please. If you don't want any issues in your life, if you don't want to go around thinking whatever, if he is fixing, start talking to him about kids, he won't hear a word you're saying. He is only able to focus on one
One
thing
thing.
at a time. That's it. It's not because he doesn't love you. If he loved you to the ends of the earth, that he would even offer his life for you, you will still be only able to focus on one thing at a time. That's how the male brain was created by the Almighty Creator. So everything else we can say or whatever I can say, but that's the bottom line.
And
Yeah.
and and
Wow.
and, and also, isn't it nice to just wait when he's home and free to have those small talk conversations? And if you were to say, call me on your way home, so that you say, hi, whatever, have a little chat. But then, even the complexities of what Melody talked about, like focus, there are so many types of people. There are people, there are fire people, there are wood, there are air, there are earth, there are silver,
Metal.
right?
Yeah.
We are going into a complex space, and then there are people who, when they come from work, they want to just go in a quiet place and be quiet for a while before they come back and interact with people. And then there are people like me who, when the minute I get to this, oh Melody, do you know what happened today? I want to share everything all at once. There are people who wake up first in the morning and they are go. And then there are people who wake up in the morning and they don't want
Like
to talk.
me, don't talk to me before 10 a.m. I won't be able to entertain you. That's
See?
just the way I'm created. Yeah.
Yeah. So know the
You
person
know,
you're with. Know the person you're with and don't want them to be you. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means who they are better when they do these things. And if they go and have downtime, they can come back and be fully present for you. Otherwise, if you impose them to be here, they are so split because they are not fully in themselves, and they are demanding
Mm.
that which they cannot give, and that can ruin your relationship.
Yeah, and
Wow.
besides, loving a person means loving them for who they are, not who you
You
want
want
them
them
to
to be.
be.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
know your communication language and all the other things before you impose expectations on a person. And actually, people should manage their expectations on other people because I don't think she would
that was
appreciate having 50
that was
missed calls
that was that was
every
a
single day.
powerful sentence to finish with, Nelta. You've got to manage your expectations, because for sure, we were laughing. We were, after 10 or 5 minutes of conversation, we started to laugh now. And I was like, but how did you manage to call this guy 50 times without even texting?
Times.
Like,
Me
how
out.
did you manage? Then she was like, no, something was just in me, John. Something is just in me. I'm just like, why is he not taking my call? And then I'm like, but you already know that this guy doesn't take your call when he's at work, so why do you keep on calling? Why don't you just that? No, I always think like he will change. At least he will feel like I'm trying to reach him every time so he can change. And anyways, it was solved, and I hope that it will remain like it was when we left each other. But maybe she will still be having those trust issues. But as we conclude tonight, Melody, as always, it is always my pleasure. I've seen a link that you've shared here, Melody. I'm trying to tap it to go through it. It is an event. I don't know. Melody has an event here that is dated for 24th of November 2021. Then Thursday, 25th November 2021. The time is 21:30. That's 9:30 at night GMT. And join Melody for a free evening of advice and practical solutions on how you can heal from heartbreak. And about this event, the event is Melody Chedamoyo is a relationship coach, speaker, and author, founder at Heart Passion Institute. Is passionate about preventing people all over the world from staying in harmful relationships. She will help you to heal your broken heart. So my girlfriends and boyfriends who are still watching, and those who will watch this after being recorded, there's an event for 24th of November and 25th of November. The time is 21:30 and 22:30 respectively GMT. And if you want to heal from heartbreak, you want to know whether you need to stay in that relationship or leave, you can join Melody on this, and, just get yourself sorted out. I was just trying to look at it, Melody. You can at least maybe in the next 2 minutes, because you're still having 2 minutes, tell us more about this. Is it free? Is it payable? Where do we meet you? Are we meeting in heaven? Are we meeting on earth, moon? Where?
It is
My
a free event. It is a free event. We're meeting on Zoom because I want people to be able to ask questions. I want to see their faces. I want to get to know them, and I want them to get to know me even more because they get to be close and personal with me. And yeah, so it's a free event on Wednesday. And I just thought, there's a lot of pain in the world. You and I, John, have spoken about how people are hurting a lot. So I just thought a free webinar that would help them to start healing, especially as we get to the end of the year. Because a lot of us have been carrying a lot of stuff. Wouldn't that be great to start the new year once you've left all the gunk from before 2020 going backwards, or before 2021 going backwards? I keep thinking I haven't left 2020, but I did. Uh, and going all the way back to whenever you were born. Let it all go. Clean up your space and make room for 2022 to enjoy your life. And yeah, and looks like to enjoy your life and to be happy again.
mm,
So that's it.
All right, so it's a great time. I hope Melody are gonna get time to be on this as well, with my crews. I hope that they will join this, Melody, and waiting to see people coming in to join you and have some kind of a discussion as we talked. And guys, this is just a pre-announcement. We are collaborating with the Heart Passion Institute, led by Madame Melody, to have some courses for those people who are trying to heal, trying to, break up and they can't, trying to fix things and they also can't. And this is a pre-announcement. We are planning to have these events and courses for those people who want to do this together with her, so that you can get yourself there. But this is going to be payable. It will not be free, because if you want, I always tell people, even on TikTok, where I have a lot of followers and a lot of fun, I tell people that if you want to help yourself, sweat for something that you need. Everything you're getting free. Even today, relationships are not working because people go to YouTube, people go to websites, people go to Google and get advice for free, and this advice misplaced them. Somebody tried it. Somebody is telling you that if you drink this water, it will make you this, and it's for free. You know, free things are cheap, and cheap things are expensive. So you better find a way to sweat for solutions. When you sweat for a solution, you get the best remedy to fix your problems. So until we meet again after 2 weeks, Melody and Nelta, it was nice to have you here. Hope to see you again. And 23rd and 23rd and 24th, is it?
No,
24th and
24th.
25th. I hope I will not forget these dates, Melody. I'll try to see if my calendar will also allow me to join and be with you in that conversation. See you again, ladies. You've been so great here. May God bless you and have a good
Thanks.
night, beautiful evening
Thank
over there.
you. Thanks, John.
Thanks,
Take
John.
care.
Thanks, Melody.
Take care. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.